So hey everyone, I'm Kyla and welcome back to the Lady Reptile channel. I have not been on this channel in over a year. I haven't posted, so I thought what better time, it's a new year, to get back into it and do an updated reptile room tour. And a lot has changed for me in the past year, which is a big reason why I haven't been posting. I did get a new job, so I no longer work at a reptile store. I did get more of a retail type job. And yeah, among other things I'm not really going to mention, but yeah, a lot has changed and for the better. I have a lot less animals, but I'm happy with that, if that makes sense, because I did have quite a few animals in the past and working at a reptile store. If any of you have before, you know that sometimes that means you're getting reptiles constantly, which isn't necessarily like the best thing. I was fine with it, like I was able to manage all of them. It wasn't anything to do with that. It was more just when I stopped working in a reptile store, I realized, oh my god, you had a lot of animals, a lot. So I'm happy now with how many I have, and I'm going to share all of them with you today. There are a few ball pythons I'm not going to show just because they're shedding or whatnot, and so I'm just going to leave them out. But I will be showing you the majority of my animals today, and we'll be starting here with this girl. This is Nevaeh. She is one of my normal ball pythons, and I've had her for, I believe it's between 7 and 9 years. I've had her for quite a while, since I was a young teenager, and now I'm 21. Sorry, excuse my dog there. But yeah, so this is her here. She's probably my biggest female ball python that I have right now. And that's her, and let's get on with the tour, and we'll start with the next animal. Okay, next up here, this is Ollie. He is my only male ball python, hi buddy, that I currently have. He is a Mojave, which is just the pattern color morph that he is. And I did get him when I was, again, a young teenager with the hopes of breeding him. And I do have a lesser female, which I'm going to show you later. And so it is possible that in the future I will breed those two, because one of my big goals when I was younger was to get a white snake, which is what a lesser times Mojave will hopefully make. That's your ultimate goal with that. And so I might do that, but I'm not really a big ball python breeder anymore. That was like my big passion with ball pythons, was breeding them and watching the babies, and I had lots of clutches. But I'm not really too much into that now. They're mostly my pets. And like I said, I've had this guy for he's probably around 10 years old, and I've probably had him for about 7 or 8 years. So it's been quite a while that I've had him, and he's just beautiful. He's a nice Mojave. So that's him, and let's move on to the next. Next up here, this is my lesser female. And this is the one that I said that it would be possible in the future that I would breed to Ollie. This one here. She's quite nice. Yeah, she's a pretty example of a lesser. And again, I've had her for quite a few years. I did buy her as a breeder female off of one of my breeder friends that I used to have. And she's just great. She's really sweet. In the cage, she can be a bit defensive. She's huffy. She did just shed, so she's kind of glowing. It's kind of funny because right now I have some ball pythons that shed out perfectly. Like this girl, she just did a shed in one piece. And then I have ball pythons, like some of the ones that I'm not going to show, who are having terrible sheds. So right now it is deep in winter where I live. I live in Canada, more specifically Toronto. And so it is freezing. We've been having like minus 30-degree weather, and so the air is very dry. So I've been trying to spray them to keep them up on humidity, but no matter what, some of them shed well and some of them shed bad. So she's one of the ones that always manages to shed really good. And this is her. She's one of the ones that will eat literally anything. She's kind of a garbage disposal. If you have an extra rat, she's always going to take it. So here's this girl, and we'll move on to the next. Alright, so now we've moved on to my corn snakes. This is my albino Aztec Okatee corn snake female. This is Rose. I think she might be blind. I'm not 100% sure. She's always had this. She has like very white eyes. So I'm not really sure, but she gets around just fine. She eats just fine. So this is her. There's not too much to mention about her, but she is quite beautiful. You can see she's very red and pink and orange, which is nice. And again, I've had her since I was really little. I'll have to see if I can find like the exact like age I was when I had her, maybe a picture I have of her when I was a kid. But she was one of my first 3 snakes. I had my pair of corn snakes and I had one of my ball pit. These are my very first snakes, and I had the 3 of them for the longest time. So, and I think I was about 12 years old, so I probably had her for going on 10 years, which is insane to think about. Time's crazy, but yeah, that's her, and I'm gonna go bring out her friend now, and yeah, be right back. Alright, so next up here is my anery corn snake. This is Bam Bam, and yeah, this is the male of the 2. I didn't ever breed them. They did accidentally, I had them together, and they did accidentally breed quite a few years back, but the eggs weren't fertile, and I've never bred the 2 because they wouldn't really make anything good, because she's not het anery or anything like that. So I have never bred my corn snakes. They're just buddies, and I've just had the pair, like I said, since I was a kid. I just liked the color. I liked the red and then the gray, so that's what I got. And yeah, this is him. He's slightly bigger than her, which is kind of funny, but yeah. Got him the same time as I got her from the same breeder, and that's them. Nothing much else to say. They're just good old corn snakes. Alright, so next up is my female Kenyan sand boa. This is Alice. She's a little bit feisty. She fought me pretty good to get out of her cage, so I'm going to make this quick. But yeah, this is the female. I've had her for probably about 5 or 6 years. And she was originally one that my dad wanted to get because I was very into reptiles, and he's like, get sand boas. And so I ended up getting a pair of these sand boas, and they're very slow growers, so we're still in the process of growing them up. But boas do give live birth, and so I'm very eager in the future to breed these 2 because I've never bred a snake that gives live birth. And so hopefully within the next couple of years she'll be ready. Incredibly awesome. But this is her, this is Alice, and I will grab out her buddy, the male now. Here is my male Kenyan sand boa, and this is Jasper. So we have an obvious Twilight reference for anyone that recognized their Alice and Jasper. But yes, this is the male of the 2, slightly smaller, which again makes sense. And he's also a bit more yellow, where Alice is a bit more orange. I'll try to get a good shot of both of them so you can kind of see that. They're both just normal Kenyan sand boas, so I think it's just natural variation to different parents, or 2 different sets of parents. But I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, here's this little noodle. These guys are amazing little animals, and they're just so cute, and they're easy, and they're one of the few snakes that have never bitten me or anything like that. They're just easy to deal with. This guy's got a better personality than the female in terms of being docile. He's much more handleable, where the female kind of will throw herself around when you try to get her out. But yeah, if you're looking for a good pet snake, I recommend a Kenyan sand boa. They're definitely the easiest out of my snakes. So that's him. I'm going to put him back, and we will get on to the next. Here that I'm going to show you is one of my Solomon Island tree boas. I did have 2. Unfortunately, the female did pass away quite soon after I got her. I had her for a little bit, and then she just kind of wasn't eating and declined very quickly. When you get wild-caught animals, sometimes they don't do well, whether it's from internal parasites or whatnot. But I still do have the male, and so I'm going to show him to you. He doesn't like to be handled, so that's why I'm going to try to show him to you on his little branch. Because I just don't want to stress him out. He's eating really well now. I did put him back into a bin, like it's like a tall tub, if you can tell. It's, how many quarts is it? I don't even know, but it's a tall tub. It's like something you might use for baby crested geckos. And he was in an 18 by 18 or 12 by 12 by 18 cage when I first got him. If you look back at old reptile room tours, I had them both in those. And the humidity just wasn't high enough, and it was getting too hot for them in there because of the lighting. They like it a little bit cooler. and my room stays hot. So anyway, all that aside, I put him back in a bin and he's doing much better in here. It's a lot more private for him. So I'm going to try to use my little branch here to take him out and to try to show him to you. So give me 1 second. Okay, so never mind. He was in the mood to be handled. He came pretty easily out, actually. He's kind of still holding on to his branch. But this is him. This is Han. And yeah, so he's a Solomon Island tree boa. And he's probably one of my favorite snakes that I own. They're just so different. He was a little bit hard to get onto rodents because in the wild they do often eat lizards, like small lizards, anole type things. But now he's on rodents, he's doing really well on frozen thawed, fuzzy to hopper depending on the size, and he's doing really well. So back in the bin was best for him. I did want him as a display animal, to kind of, you know, look, don't touch kind of animal in a really pretty cage, and I'm hoping in the future that that's what I'll be able to do. But for now, he's happy in his little bin. Not little bin, it's actually quite a big bin. But he's happy in his bin, he's secure, he feels safe, and that's at the end of the day what really matters. So yeah, this is him and he's doing well. I do hope in the future to possibly get him a female because I really did want to try to breed these guys because there's not many bred in captivity, and that's part of the reason why we still continue to this day to have so many wild-caught imports of them. And so if we can get a good breeding program of them going, which doesn't really exist to a big extent in Canada that I know of anyway, I could be completely wrong, and so that's why we have so many wild-caught ones, and so I'd love to try to help that. And now that I have some good experience and I kind of know a little bit more about them than I did, I think I could probably do it. So in the future, I would like to still try to breed these guys. I'm going to put him away because he's kind of starting to get freaked out. And I might see about getting a female. I still am a little bit unsure how I feel about wild-caught animals. I definitely do have wild-caught animals and I have purchased them in the past, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I still, like, captive bred is always best, and whenever I can find captive bred, I go for captive bred. I did work at a reptile store that got a lot of wild-caught animals in, and so we were constantly working with them, which is oftentimes why I ended up bringing them home, because I fell in love with them. But it still is a debate in my head, and I think that if we can start good breeding programs for animals that are often wild-caught, we can prevent wild-caught animals in the future and have quality, healthy, captive-bred ones. So anyway, I'm getting off topic. Next up is one of my BCIs. Here's this boy. What the problem was, but he's a great eater now. He's finally starting to grow. He's still very tiny for his size, but he's doing quite well. And I'm terrible with remembering boa morphs, so if I remember, I'll put it on the screen. I usually have it written down somewhere. For whatever reason, I can remember like any ball python morph ever because that's how I really got my start with reptiles. But I can never remember like BCI morphs or boa morphs. Like salmon boa morphs like completely go out of my mind, and so do these. So anyway, yeah, this is him, but I do not currently remember his morph. But he's doing really well, pretty boy, and I'm going to show you hopefully his future mate here in just a minute, because again, I would love to breed more boas because I've never experienced a live birth. So I do have a female for him, and I'm going to go grab her. So, be right back. Alright, I'm sorry for how dark it is over here. I was going to take this girl out, but she's really not in the mood, so I'm going to leave her in her cage. This is Seeker. She's in this big 3-foot tank. She will be getting a tank upgrade as well. She's on the short list because I don't really like keeping boas like this in glass. But yep, here she is. Again, I'll put her morph on the screen because I'm terrible with boa morphs. But yeah, that's Seeker, and hopefully one day she will be the mate of the first boa I showed there. But yeah, that's her. Let's move on to the next. So we have completed all of the snakes, I believe, unless I'm forgetting any. And now we're going to move on to some of the other animals. This here is Sheldon. He is my Chinese box turtle. And you'll notice that Sheldon's got a bit of a funky shell. He was a rescue turtle. And he was actually when I worked at the reptile store, he actually came in there. And my owner, like the owner of the reptile store, was just like, if you want him, take him, because we can't really sell him. I'm not really sure if it's MBD or if it's a natural birth defect, because some turtles are known to have the ability to have a natural, you know, defected shell. I'm gonna guess it's MBD that he had on his shell, but I don't know for sure his history. I don't even know for sure how old he is, so I can't say for sure what's really up with his shell, but it doesn't affect him at all. He does have UV now, so it won't get any worse. And he is literally like my buddy. He's such a good little turtle. He loves his greens. He loves anything. Loves to eat anything. He sleeps. He eats. He's great. He's a good little turtle. He's completely normal, other than his shell. And Chinese box turtles are super uncommon to see in captivity. So I'm really happy to show the tanks behind me, which are my 4 crested geckos and 1 gargoyle gecko. Only one problem is that their tanks are very dense. As you can see, there's lots of foliage and things like that. And it's not daytime, but it's like mid-afternoon. And so they're not really out right now, and I don't want to have to dig through their whole cage to like uproot them to show them to you. So I'm going to be putting clips of all of their cages in the video after this, so you'll get to see their cages. And then I will also put pictures of them, so you'll be able to see what they each look like, because I should have pretty decent pictures of all of them from like Instagram and stuff like that I can put in the video. But I will say I do have 2 male crested geckos, and then I have 2 females. I have, 2 females, 2 males, but the second male was actually one that I produced from 2 of them, if that makes any sense. I know that sounded a little bit messed up. And then I have 1 gargoyle gecko, and she's actually one that, again, I got when I worked at the reptile store, and she was one that has a little bit of a weird spinal bump, so she was born with a little bit of a defect on her back, and so she couldn't be a breeder for the breeder that sold her to the reptile store. And so I got her again for like a really discounted price, and she's gorgeous. Her name's Cordelia. And I just actually took some new pictures of her, so you'll see those, and I took some really good quality pictures of her, so those will be up on the screen for you, and I'll try to get as decent pictures as possible of the others. And yeah, so alright, so here's Houdini, being the bad girl that she is, climbing on the cage door. But she is my Savannah monitor. I've had her for 2 years. There she is. She's quite a big girl, if you can't tell. Her cage is currently 6 feet by, I believe, 2 feet by 3 feet, so it's quite a massive cage, and this probably won't be her permanent cage. She probably will need an upgrade once I move out. I probably will make her an even larger cage, but for now, because she's still considered a sub-adult, she's about 2 feet, or about just under 2 feet in length. This cage is just fine. She's got about a foot of bedding to dig in down there, big water bowl which she likes to poop in, and then her basking spot is down there. So this is Houdini. She's an absolute puppy dog out of the cage. But if I were to put my hand right now, she would think I was bringing food, because the door to her means food. I'm trying to work on that with her because I want her to be a little bit easier to deal with. And another thing, which I think I mentioned in the original video, was that I wanted to get this tank a glass front. And I still do want to do that, but I'm yet to find a place where I can get a piece of glass that's going to be big enough and not going to be super duper expensive. It's just a little bit outrageous, some of the glass prices, to be able to get this glass front.
And for now, I'm not really having problems keeping the humidity up in her tank because of all of the dirt. So it's not a big issue. The only issue is that she can climb the screen. So you can see it's like a massive screen door. And it works just fine for now. She's going to try to boogie her way out here. You can see that she's not mean, but she's definitely a sassy girl. So I'll input some better clips of her cage. She did have live plants in here, which if you watched the Savannah Monitor cage video, which I will link up in the iCard, you'll see that she did have live plants, but she of course dug all of those out, so I'm not able to have live plants in her cage anymore yet. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get something that she won't dig out. But yeah, that's just about Houdini. She's eating well, doing everything well. She's just a puppy dog. And yeah, I'm hoping to do more videos with her because I feel like so many people don't really like understand Savannah monitors. Hopefully this summer I'll be able to get her outside and do some videos with her. So anyway, as she tries to burrow into me, that is Houdini, and let's move on to the next.
But this is Rue. She is my northern blue-tongued skink. She's currently in shed, so she kind of looks dull. But this is Rue. She is one of my original pets that I've had since time. I've had her. She's probably about 8 years old now. I got her just as a little hatchling, and I drove all the way 5 hours to pick her up at the breeder's house. So I was very, very serious about her. I still am. And blue-tongued skinks have really become big in the last few years, but I've had her. Blue-tongued skinks were barely even considered like good pets when I got her. They just weren't popular or anything like that, and now they're hugely popular, so it's kind of funny because I've had her forever and now people are just starting to get into them. But this is Rue, and yeah, she's a northern blue-tongued skink, so she's one of the drier species of skinks. And I do plan to do like a full care video on blue-tongued skinks because I feel like they're such a popular pet right now, but they're not necessarily a pet that everybody knows a ton about, I feel like. So I'm going to share some information on her in the future. So if you want to see that care video, let me know. But I think it's one of the ones I definitely want to stick to doing. But yeah, this is Rue. I'm not actually sure if she's a he or a she. I just say she. But yeah, that's her. And yeah. Alright, so now we are in my bedroom, and we are not in the reptile room anymore because that's where I keep my 2 fish tanks. So the one you're looking at right now, kind of have a very bright light near it. Here, let me see if that helps, is my community tank. And excuse a little bit of gross stuff on the front glass. I have to get like a scraper or something to get it off because it won't brush off with the normal glass cleaner. But this is a community tank. I have quite a few different species of fish in here, so I'm going to name them all. But first off, this is a fluval flex. I think I believe it's 9 or 10 gallons. Try to show, it's like one of the bow front ones, right, like that, and it has like all of the place in the back for the filter and everything. So in here, obviously, I do have a female beta, right there, red female beta. Right in the center here, I'll try to show them. Harlequin Boas. We have a school of 5. Right there, you can also see I have neon tetras. I have 3 currently. It's gonna be hard to see. That little guy right there is a rock shrimp. And yeah, I just have 1 of those for now. I want to get more. And then I have my Cory cats. So I have 2 of these guys, 2 greens. They're pretty large. And then I have 2 albino Cory cats as well. So let me see if I can see any of them. Oh, there's one. One right there. There's an albino. And then in the very back, I do have a mystery snail as well. So this is a live planted tank. I do have to cut these plants back constantly. They're constantly growing. But my favorite feature about this tank is definitely the little remote, and you can change all the colors. So like at night, I put it on like this, so it's like can go blue at night. But you can also do like pretty much any color you want. So if you wanted it pink, you could have it pink. If you wanted it yellow, you could have it yellow. I just keep it at the day one during the day, obviously, like that, and then the night one at night. But really cool tank. Love this one, and I'm really loving
all of the animals in here. Oh, I did forget to mention there are ghost shrimp in here as well, but I can never find them. I've bought so many of those things and they are impossible to see. I thought the more I got, maybe I'd be able to see them, but they disappear and hide in here. It's such a dense tank. So hopefully you can see, because I know that light is like super bright on top of it, but yeah, that's my fluval flex. On the bottom of my nightstand down here, I have my male beta. This is Mirage. Again, I'm terrible with remembering these names, but I believe he's like a Dumbo half moon, something like that. I believe that's what he is. He's white and red. I believe this is a 3-gallon tank. It does have a filter in the back, and it does of course have a plant and his little elephant there, and he does have a snail. I do want to upgrade him because I know full-size betas should be in a minimum of a 5-gallon, so he is definitely on my list to get a bigger tank. He was quite tiny when I got him, so the 3-gallon was good, but I definitely will be getting him a bigger cage. There he is. He's so pretty. So excuse my puppy dog. I'll show her after. But yeah, he's good. He's doing well, and that's Mirage, and the little snail down there, his name is Tusk. So that's him. So the little barking puppy is Daisy. This is my Yorkie poo. So she is a Yorkie mixed with a teacup Yorkie mixed with a teacup poodle. She's only 3 pounds and she is 3 years old. So that's Daisy, who is barking for her toy. And now I'll go find my other dog and show you her as well. Last up here today, sorry about the lighting because she's in my living room right now. This is Zoey. She's my first dog and she is 5. She's a French Bulldog, Pug, and Shih Tzu mix. I will put some better pictures up of the dogs because it's so dark and they don't want to move into the good lighting, so we will do that. But that is Zoey, my pride and joy puppy. Both my dogs are my pride and joy. They're my life. I love my dogs. I love all of my pets, but dogs are just, they have like a special place in my heart. So that's Zoey, and now let's go wrap up the video. Alright, so that just about wraps up my reptile room tour. I'm just gonna grab that dog. Give me 1 sec because she's gonna keep barking. Daisy's gonna sit with me. Don't mind her messy ponytail. She was playing all day. She's gonna sit with me to finish this video. So yeah, that just about wraps up the reptile tour, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing them all. I guess I did show a couple non-reptiles as well, but I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all of my pets, and if you did, definitely subscribe. I'm going to try to be more consistent with videos. I'm not going to make any promises because I am quite busy with work, and dealing with all of these pets can take some time. It's all love, of course, but it does take a lot of time. If you have pets, you know how much time you put into them. So I'll do my best to try to upload more. And if you have any video recommendations, let me know. Like I said, I do want to do a couple of care videos, probably a Savannah monitor video. I do want to do the Blue Tongue skincare video, but I don't have many other ideas, so let me know what you'd like to see from my channel. And yeah, give it a like, give it a comment, and I will see you guys in the future. Bye!